I will, baby. Daddy's gonna go see if he can find some airplane stuff.
Cool, huh? Great idea, Dad. Oh. You took your shoes off, man? You can't put up it.
All right, I'm gonna surface swim out a bit and get a good heading, and then I'm gonna go ahead and go down, see what I can find. It's a little bit more clear right in this area.
If the landing gear is on there, or if the landing gear is down, then my theory of that they drug it out here has credence. See, I think they just took it right off of the north end of the runway, came down transmitter, and parked it here. Because you got to remember, right? It was a rock quarry. There was no water here.
So what's the number that we're looking for?
44-62214. It's the tail number, what they typically would call the tail number, or the serial number of the aircraft. So it's going to be found. It can be found in several different places, of course, on the tail. But all we have is just a small portion of the vertical stabilizer, right? So the vertical stabilizer is going to go up about another 10 foot. And then, so you can find it on the tail, but we're not going to find it on this tail because it's missing. What's really neat is, so you'd have the rest of the vertical stabilizer, and there's an opening, and then they're further beyond what we see outside the water is where the tail gunner would sit. So that's really, so that's kind of cool. And then one of the things that we have found is the cap that goes over the, or a cone cover that goes over the back part of the fuselage. That's where, if it was an active World War II aircraft, it would have either dual 50 calibers or a 20 millimeter and a 50 caliber gun pointing out of it. But because this was a weather reconnaissance aircraft, that that ball turret was, or that turret was covered over, and so we found that. We actually found that, so that was kind of a really neat find. So what we're hoping is there's a stenciling. I'm hoping, there's a stenciling on the. There, it may still be there, but there should be a stenciling on the side of the aircraft that will have a series. It'll say like U.S. Air Force, and there'll be a series of numbers. But the tail number, that number we're looking for, will be the 44-62214. So, and I'm thinking that the water will have preserved it for, specific.
Zach.
Yes.
It's got these big cables attached to it. Are those tow cables?
I don't know. Is it a cable? Let me see.
Well, I didn't know. Did it have cables attached to the wings?
Well, if it did, then that might have something to do with the. That's kind of cool. He's sitting on the wing now.
I was trying to see. It looks to me like it may have been lifted in here.
Okay.
I couldn't see any landing gear anywhere.
There wasn't any landing gear.
I'm sitting on engine 3
Yeah,
right now.
yeah. So nothing beneath it?
Nothing.
I mean, you felt underneath the cowling and everything?
Yeah. These cables, there's a lot of length. I mean, they're everywhere.
Well, then I think that would, when you get over to the other side and you find that, then that would add credence to the cable part of it, Well, I think another thing too, though, is if you can get underneath the fuselage and feel if there's any scrape damage, like maybe they drug it.
I was underneath this whole wing. I was underneath of it, didn't see it, and then, believe it or not, the visibility was really good right off the bat.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it still good?
Not right now.
On the windows here on the cockpit, you may be able to clear some of the buildup on the side of the aircraft. See if you can see some big letters, big black letters, U.S. Air Force. See if you can,
On the other side.
No,
though.
on this side.
On this side?
Correct. And then if you see U.S. Air Force, then you're going to come towards the windows on the cockpit, and that's where it should be. It should be between the windows that go out furthest, or where that serial number is going to be.
Okay. So that cable I pulled up is attached to the wing, and I thought maybe it was anchored to the ground.
Okay.
So I traced it, and I got to like 30 feet, and it wrapped around and it's coming back underneath the wing,
Wow, that's cool. That's really cool.
But I mean, we're talking probably every bit of 30 feet or more of cable.
But if you find it on the other side,
Yeah.
that's going to lend a lot of credence to the. Man, you just upset me because now my theory just went out the window.
When I'm looking at this inside,
Yeah.
I mean, it is, gutted.
Yeah.
To the,
Just like that one, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's, I could actually look in through the engine cowling down and didn't see anything there either.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you seeing any plates?
Like
with numbers
I
and
wasn't
stuff?
really looking for plates,
Okay.
but
Do you have a light?
yeah.
Okay, so if you look in there and you see like a little data plates with rivets on it,
Yeah.
either 2 or 4, on the corners.
Yeah.
Just see if there's any nomenclature of any sort on those. Okay, so like I say, look at that, and then see this first big hole here?
Yeah.
There's another one right behind it I've not seen before until this year.
Okay.
Okay, just see what you can see inside that too. Again, you might find that a nomenclature plate on there. Okay.
Okay. When you get underneath the wing, it really makes you. It kind of puts into perspective how big it really is.
Yeah. Are you seeing any color? Can you see? I know it's maybe a frivolous question, but like the Arctic red.
No, I have not seen any of that.
Okay.
I did see a really, really cool aluminum exhaust pipe.
Yeah.
It's on my right side here. It kind of looks like an accordion style.
Mm-hmm.
I did see that, which was pretty neat. It's pretty thick. I mean, you know, we're talking, I go down 12 feet, and when I say it's thick, I mean, that's how close together it is. I mean, it's literally just inches apart. I mean, it's just piled on top of each other. When I initially entered the water and dropped down, and you know, I had a little bit of visibility. Once I dropped below 6 to 8 feet, the visibility got really bad. And you know, I don't know if it's because of all the rain that we did get last night and today. You know, I can't imagine it would have stirred it up that much, but it is possible, you know. It's just, man, I just couldn't believe that, you know, 8 feet into the water, and it's a huge cloud. Even in the areas that there's not vegetation, it's 6 and 8 feet, you know, where it's somewhat clear. The thermocline in the water too is really significant. You know, once you hit about 9 feet, 10 feet, the temperature of the water drops about 20 degrees. You see how much I'm collecting of this as I swim around.
Is it weighing you down?
Yeah, a little bit. I just, I try to pull it off of me once I get about 50 pounds of it on me.
Yeah.
This was supposed to be an exploratory dive.
Yeah.
You know, I figured there was gonna probably be some obstacles that, you know, I knew the biggest obstacle was gonna be visibility, but I guess I just had no idea that, you know, at 10 and 12 feet down, before I even started kicking, it was already like zero visibility.
Yeah.
There was a transition period between the B-29 and the B-50, and 2214, which is the tail number of the aircraft, just happened to break down, you know, kind of in that flux, that transition flux, and there was a supply, there were some supply issues with getting supplies up here for the aircraft, because the focus was on the B-50s and getting them operational, and just keeping the B-29s or WB-29s, you know, in the air. So what they started doing is she became what they call a hangar queen, and they just started taking everything they could off of her. So every usable part, and it is accurate, every usable part just about in this aircraft, it was taken out. Did you find any cable on this side?
But I didn't see a cable on that one. I'm wondering if it's gonna be on, because I was on.
Just like on that one.
Yeah.
This is supposed to just be the exploratory dive. It's not supposed to be the main dive. That's funny. Yeah.
Nothing.
No, okay.
I couldn't see anything.
All right.
Do you want me to check for plates or?
No.
I'm getting pretty low on air too. I was even going to try to clear some of these logs out, but I'm smoked.
You wearing a ghillie suit or, you know?
Just about. It might as well be. Man. Well, I didn't find out as much as I was hoping to find out, but we did at least pretty much figure out that it was lowered in there versus towed. So, yeah, I almost lost my dive light. I got lucky on that. It came off of my lanyard.
You're gonna feel a lot lighter once you get all that stuff off.
Yeah, I already feel a lot lighter with. I could tell my BCD alone with the vegetation on it was getting heavy, to say the least.
Not like diving in Hawaii, is it? With 100-foot visibility.
No. I had much higher expectations as to what I was going to be able to see and what I was going to be able to find. And I also didn't plan on losing a camera.
Well, I feel like if it was going to be that easy, this probably would have been done a long time ago.
Yeah.
You know?
You know, when I was on engine 1 and 2, I was talking to her. I was like, hey, tell me where to find this. You know, we're trying to tell your story.
Yeah.
And I was hoping she'd give it away, but I felt like I was getting really close.
Yeah.
You know, like I'd uncover something and I was like, man, I feel like it's somewhere around here. And you know, I would uncover, and then I would kind of move to another area, uncover that, and then come back, and then it was kind of a little bit more clear. So that was good. But man, it's just once you drop down, especially I could tell as we were losing sunlight. You know, I would say that if we can get it to where the sun is like directly over her, you know, it's probably going to give me, you know, another, you know, I'm going to be able to go probably 2 more feet down. So I might get to, you know, 10 feet and have a little more visibility, because especially once I got over here, below 6 feet, it was nothing. I mean, even with my light and, you know, we're getting really, really close, it was just plumes, you know, and I was literally holding on to her to move around, and you could see I was trying to keep my feet kind of towards the surface, you know, so that way I wasn't, you know, kicking down and blowing stuff around. So I was just holding on to her and kind of moving around to you know, mitigate the amount of silt I was kicking up. But it was still, you know, I even pulled down, you know, I would keep my feet up and try to pull myself down to, you know, see if I could see better. And yeah, she doesn't want to give it away easily, that's for sure. She doesn't want to.
She's not a cheap date.
Yeah, she's not a cheap date. She don't want to tell us much, so she's going to make us work for it, that's for sure. When I was here, I got really excited because I got to this far window here, and I started removing some of the, you know, algae and stuff that had grown on it, and I started to see some white specks that really, and it actually started to look like letters. And so I started to wipe it away and really look at it, and I was like, man, that looks like white lettering. And I was getting excited, so I continued to kind of look at it, and I can't really say that it's actually white paint or if it's just like a calcium deposit, you know, because as I started to move, you know, further down the fuselage, I noticed that there was white markings there too. So then I wasn't as excited, because I thought, well, you know, maybe it's just like a calcium deposit or something on there.